Hi and welcome to my channel. So in today's video we are going to learn about the 15 Finnish cases in form of an overview. So that means we are going to focus on what cases do exist, what to expect behind the names of the cases, when to use them, and then we are also going through many examples for each of the cases. As a short info, I will later on also make separate videos to each of the cases, which will be way more detailed, including formations. But for now, it's just an overview to get a feeling what these cases are actually about. So let's start with the first case, the nominative. The nominative ends either in nothing or t, if we're talking about the nominative plural. The nominative is the basic form and it refers to the subject or the object. Here are two examples. Millainen ilma tänään on means what's the weather like today. So ilma, which means weather, is standing here in the basic form. Millainen ilma tänään on. What's the weather like today? Next example, ostan kaupasta omenat means I'm buying the apples from the store. So omenat is the nominative plural of the word omena, which means apple. It's standing here in the nominative plural because we're talking about a specific amount of apples. So let's repeat. Ostan kaupasta omenat. I'm buying the apples from the store. Our next case is the genitive. The genitive ends either in n, den, or ten with a double T. We use the genitive when we're talking about possessions, objects, necessity, postpositions, and more. Here's some examples. Matin kissa on Helsingissa. Matin kissa on Helsingissa means Matti's cat is in Helsinki. So Matin is the genitive case of the name Matti. And Matin means of Matti. So Matti is standing here in the genitive case because we're talking about a possession of his. The possession in this sentence is the cat, so we're talking about Matti's cat here. Matin kissa on Helsingissa. Matti's cat is in Helsinki. Next one, minä luen kirjan, means I'm reading the book. Kirjan is the genitive case of the word kirja, which means book. And here it's standing in a genitive case because we're talking about the whole book. So we are reading the book till the end. Next one, opiskelijoiden täytyy mennä kirjastoon, means the students have to go to the library. Opiskelijoiden is the genitive plural of the word opiskelija, which means student. And it's standing here in the genitive case because this sentence is a necessity sentence. We recognize the necessity sentence by the structure genitive plus täytyy plus infinitive verb. So that's why we say opiskelijoiden täytyy mennä kirjastoon. The students have to go to the library. Next one, lintu on talon edessä. Lintu on talon edessä. The bird is in front of the house. Edessä means in front of, and it's called a postposition. When we have a direct local postposition, we have to put the genitive case in front of it. So the structure is genitive plus postposition. That's why we say talon, which is the genitive case of the word talo, which means house. Lintu on talon edessä. The bird is in front of the house. Next case is the accusative. The accusative case is a complex one because the object can appear as a genitive case, T-plural case, or nominative case. The most important thing here is that the accusative refers to the object of personal pronouns. Here's one example. Ajan sinut autolla kouluun means I'm driving you to school by car. So sinut is the accusative case of the pronoun sinä, which means you, singular. So the question is, who do I drive to school? I drive you to school by car, so that's why we say sinut here and use the accusative case. Ajan sinut autolla kouluun. I'm driving you to school by car. Next one, the partitive. The partitive, which is a very big topic that I'm going to discuss in a later video, more detailed. So the partitive ends either in a, e, ta, te, and with the double T as ta or te, depending on the vowel harmony. The partitive is used when we're talking about an unspecified amount, when we build negative sentences. It's also used of the numbers, in greetings, blessings, and more. Here's some examples. Minä ostan leipää means I'm buying bread, and leipää here is the partitive case of the word leipä, which means bread. It's standing here in the partitive case because we're talking about an unspecified amount of bread, so we don't know how much bread I'm going to buy. Minulla ei ole autoa means I don't have a car. This is a negative sentence, and that's why we put the car into the partitive case. So autoa is the partitive case of the word auto, which means car. I don't have a car. Minulla ei ole autoa. Next one, hänellä on 2 koiraa, means he has 2 dogs. Koira here is the partitive case of the noun koira, which means dog, and it's standing here in the partitive case because it's following a number. Hänellä on 2 koiraa. He has 2 dogs. And it's also used in blessings, for example. Hyvää matkaa means have a nice trip. It's a blessing, so that's why it's standing in the partitive case. And we move on to the next one, the inessive case. This one is ending in either sa or se. The inessive case is used when we're talking about something that is inside. Then it's also used to express that an object has something. And it's also used in some common phrases. Olen nyt kaupassa means I'm now in the store. So kaupassa is the inessive case of the word kaupa, which means store. Olen nyt kaupassa. I'm now in the store. Next one. Kylpyhuoneessa on ikkuna can be translated as in the bathroom there is a window, but it can also be translated as the bathroom has a window. And then we can also find the inessive in common phrases like sinä olet oikeassa, which means you're right. We move on to the next case, the elative. The elative does end either in sta or ste, and it can be used to express from somewhere, or when we want to say that something is made of some specific material, or when we also want to say that we like something, and more. Minä olen kotoisin Norjasta means I'm originally from Norway. So Norjasta is the elative case here of the word Norja, which means Norway. Minä olen kotoisin Norjasta. I'm originally from Norway. The next example is something you can probably see on bus stations. Turusta Helsinkiin means from Turku, which is a city in Finland, to Helsinki. So Turusta here is the elative case of the city Turku, and Helsinkiin is the elative case of the city Helsinki. So Turusta Helsinkiin means from Turku to Helsinki. Next one, komero on tehty puusta means the closet is made of wood. So here we want to say that the closet is made out of something. That's why we use the elative case. So puusta is the elative case of the word puu, which means wood. Next one. Minä tykkään saksalaisesta leivästä means I like German bread. So saksalaisesta is the elative case of the word saksalainen, which means German. And leivästä here is the elative case of the word leipä, which means bread. And we put these two words into the elative case because of the verb tykkään, which is the first person singular of the verb tykätä, which means to like. Minä tykkään saksalaisesta leivästä. I like German bread. Then we have the elative case. It can end either in a vowel plus n, in h, vowel n, or in sen, or for plural, sin. It's used when we're talking about a movement to somewhere into something. It's also used in a time-related context with verbs and more. Here are some examples. Matti menee kauppaan means Matti goes to the store. He goes somewhere, he goes to the store. That's why we say kauppaan, which is the elative case of the word kauppa, which means store. Matti menee kauppaan. Matti goes to the store. Next one. Tammikuussa aion matkustaa Lontooseen. Means in January I plan to travel to London. So Lontooseen is the ilative case of the city Lonto, which means London. Tammikuussa aion matkustaa Lontooseen. In January I plan to travel to London. Next one. Aki menee kotiin kello 7. Means Aki goes home at 7 o'clock. Kotiin is the ilative case of the word koti, and it means to home, towards home. So let's repeat again. Aki menee kotiin kello 7. Aki goes home at 7 o'clock. And the ilative case is also used in other combinations as menen nukkumaan. Menen nukkumaan, which means I go sleeping. So, nukkumaan here is the ilative case of the third active infinitive of the verb nukkua, which means to sleep. Next one is the adjective case. It ends either in la or le, and it's used when we want to say on. It can be also used when we want to say that we did something with a specific instrument, but not necessarily a music instrument, more in the sense of I'm traveling by car or I'm writing the text with a pen. So let's say the adjective is used when we do something with a specific thing, which we call instrument. The adjective is also used when we're talking about possessions, and it's also used in a time-related context. Here's some examples. Vasi on pöydällä means the vase is on the table. Pöydällä is the adjective case of the word pöytä, which means table. So the vase is on the table. Vasi on pöydällä. Next one. Matkustan Helsinkiin bussilla means I'm traveling to Helsinki by bus. Bussilla means by bus. It's the adjective case of the noun bussi, which means bus. Next one, hänellä on uusi vene, means he has a new boat. So here we have again the possession structure, hänellä on, which means he has. So hänellä is the adjective case of the pronoun hän, which means he or she. Hänellä on uusi vene, he has a new boat. Ensi viikolla menen Tukholmaan means next week I'm going to Stockholm. Viikolla is the adjective case of the word viikko, which means week. So let's repeat. Ensi viikolla menen Tukholmaan. Next week I'm going to Stockholm. Then we have the ablative case. It ends either in elta or eltä. It means of or from when we're talking about the surface. It's also used in time-related expressions and also with verbs and more. Minä ostin omenat vanhalta torilta means I bought the apples from the old market. So vanhalta is the ablative case of the word vanha, which means old, and torilta is the ablative case of the word tori, which means market. And vanha has to stand in the ablative case because it refers to the tori, which is market. Next one. Kurssi loppu puoli seitsemältä means the course is ending at 6:30. Here we have seitsemältä, which is the ablative case of the number seitsemän. And then we also use the ablative case because the verbs can require it. For example, kuulosta. Kuulosta, which means to sound. One common phrase is kuulosta hyvältä. Kuulosta hyvältä, which means sounds good. The next case is the allative case. It ends with le and it means onto or also to someone, and it's also used with verbs and more. Hän menee parvekkeelle means he goes onto the balcony. So we don't say he goes into the balcony, we say he goes onto the balcony. That's why we have parvekkeelle, which is the allative case of the noun parveke, which means balcony. Let's repeat. Hän menee parvekkeelle. He goes onto the balcony. Next one. Matti antoi minulle lahjan means Matti gave me a present. The question is, who did Matti give a present to? He gave it to me. So that's why we say minulle. Minulle is the allative case of the pronoun minä, and it means to me. Matti antoi minulle lahjan. Matti gave me a present. Then we carry on with the essive. The essive ends either in na or ne, and it's used when we want to express a state in the sense of a temporary state or a function or position, and it's also used with time expressions and more. For example, juon kahvin kuumana means I'm drinking the coffee hot. So the state of the coffee is hot. So we say juon kahvin kuumana. I'm drinking the coffee hot or in a hot state. Next one, when we're talking about functions or positions. Aki on Norjassa turistina means Aki is in Norway as a tourist. So turistina is the essive case of the word turisti, which means tourist. And here we use the essive because turistina implies that Aki is there as a tourist. Alright, next one. Minä tulen maanantaina. Minä tulen maanantaina means I'm coming on Monday. Maanantaina is the essive case of the word maanantai, which means Monday. Minä tulen maanantaina. I'm coming on Monday. Next case is the translative case. It's ending in xi, and it's used when we want to express that something changed into something else. That can be, for example, again, a state or a function or position. And it's also used when we want to express for. Here are some examples. Opettaja on tullut vanhaksi means the teacher got old. So vanhaksi is the translative case of the word vanha, which means old. And it's standing here in the translative case because we're talking about the change of a state of the teacher. So in easier words, that means the teacher was before young, and then as the years went by, he got older, and that's why we have to use the translative case. Opettaja on tullut vanhaksi. The teacher got old, or he became old. Next one is menemme kesäksi Saksaan, means for the summer we go to Germany. Kesäksi is the translative case of the word kesä, which means summer, and here it means for the summer. Menemme kesäksi Saksaan. For the summer, we go to Germany. Now we're moving on to the very rare cases. One is the commutative. The ending of the commutative is inna, and the commutative is used when we want to say that someone is being accompanied by someone or something. It also expresses with. One important thing here to mention is that the ending inna is always followed by the possessive suffix. We will see what that means. Hän tuli juhliin vaimoineen means he came to the party with his wife, or he came to the party accompanied by his wife. So we know the word vaimo, which means wife. And the inna indicates either with or being accompanied by. And then we have en at the end, which works as a possessive suffix and indicates that we're talking about his wife. Hän tuli juhliin vaimoineen. He came to the party with his wife. Technically, it could also mean he came to the party with his wives, because the Finnish letter E or the English I implies the plural. So here you actually always have to look at the context. The next one is the instructive, also very rare. It is ending with N, and it's used when we want to express by means of, and it's also used in set expressions. Some of them are, for example, omin silmin, which means with one's own eyes, or omin korvin, which means with one's own ears. Here are some examples. Tämä on käsin tehty, which can be translated as this is made by hands or this is handmade. So käsin is the instructive of the word käsi, which means hand. Next one, Matti kuuli sen omin korvin. In English, we would translate it as Matti heard it with his own ears. Omin korvin means with one's own ears, and because we're talking about Matti here, we say Matti heard it with his own ears. And then the instructive is also used in very common expressions such as ystävällisin terveisin, which means with kind regards. It's a phrase that is often used at the end of letters or emails in a formal situation. Now we're moving on to the last case, which is the appassive, and it's ending either in ta or te with a double T. It means without, and it's also used in some set expressions. For example, Matti sotoi sutta means Matti got mad without any reason. So we focus here on the word sutta, which means without a reason. Sutta is the appassive case of the word sy, which means reason or cause. So when we see the ta or te at the end, and know it's the appassive case, then we know it means without. So Matti got mad without a reason. Matti sotoi sutta. And sotoi is the past tense of the verb sottua, which means to get mad. Next example. Hän poistui sanomatta mitään means he left without saying anything. So sanomatta mitään is a very common expression and it means without saying anything. And sanomatta is the appassive case of the word sanoma, which is the agent participle of the word sanoa, which means to say. So let's repeat. Hän poistui sanomatta mitään. He left without saying anything. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it and want to learn more Finnish, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Have a nice day and see you next time.